Hello, soulmates. It's your girl, Dr. Melissa, back with another soulistic episode of Standing on Business, where it's not just business, it's personal. So today we're going to dive deep into something that has the power to transform every aspect of your life. And by the way, it's the first step of my purpose method framework. And it is how to evaluate yourself through the power of self-assessment and reflection. So, are you ready to look into the mirror and see the greatness that's been there all along? Yes? Good. Listen, soulmates, I know that some of you are out there feeling lost. I remember that feeling. You're wondering if you're on the right path. You're questioning if your actions truly align with the desires of your heart. Well, today, I'm going to light that fire within you because we're going to uncover the tools that it will take to help you not only find your purpose, but to live it, breathe it, and let it radiate from every fiber of your being. Now, before we dive in, I want to share a personal story with you. Let me tell you, the early years of my life was filled with a lot of fear. It was filled with a lot of shame, a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos. So I worked really, really hard to become who I thought the world needed me to be. You know, I checked all the boxes on all the things: education, working hard, you name it, I checked that box. And then there became a point in my life where I felt like finally I had arrived, right? I had reached this time in my life when I thought I had it all figured out. 30 plus years of a marriage, 4 beautiful kids, a successful business. I was living the dream. Or so I thought. You know, I say what the kids say all the time. You know, life has a way of lifing, right? When I lost my husband of 31 years after a brutal 4-year battle with brain cancer, I didn't just lose a relationship. I lost my sense of self. I lost my direction. You see, I was standing at a crossroads. And let me tell you, every single path forward looked dark and terrifying. But soulmates, in that moment of crisis, in that dark, dark place of feeling buried, I discovered something profound. I realized that I wasn't buried. I was simply planted. Those two things can look the same, being buried, being planted, but the outcome is quite different. You see, I realized that the light that I had been searching for all of my life wasn't out there somewhere. It had been inside of me all along. And the key to finding it? Self-assessment and reflection. You see, self-assessment isn't just about making a list of all of your strengths and weaknesses. It's about stripping away the layers of who you think you should be, who they say you should be, and uncovering the truth of who you truly are. Self-assessment is about asking yourself the hard questions. Like, what sets my soul on fire? Like, what values am I willing to stand for, even if the whole world is pushing against it? You know, my non-negotiables. Questions like, what unique gifts have God entrusted to me? And how can I use them to serve others? Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Dr. Melissa, that sounds super scary. Because what if I don't like what I find? You know, oftentimes we avoid addressing the boogeyman under the bed because we're scared that it really might actually be the boogeyman. But my loves, let me tell you this. There is absolutely nothing inside of you for you to fear. Why? Because every piece of you, every experience, every triumph, every scar, it's all a part of your magnificence, your brilliance. You see, your job is not to judge it or shrink from it. Your job is to embrace it, to understand it, and to use it to fuel your growth. So, why is self-assessment so crucial? I told you it's a part of my purpose method. It is the first step to my purpose method. Why is it so important? I'm going to break it down to you in a few steps. The first reason why self-assessment is so crucial is, number one, it provides clarity. You see, when you know yourself, you can cut out the noise of the world. When you know yourself truly, you stop chasing other people's dreams or expectations of you, and you start living your own. Number two, as to why self-assessment is so important, it's because it provides alignment. When your actions align with your true self, that's where you find your superpowers. Doors open, mountains move. The whole world and everything around you starts to line up to help you succeed. Why? Simple. Because you have finally shown up. You have finally positioned yourself to receive the blessings that have been waiting and laid up for the real you. A third reason why self-assessment is so important: growth. Every time you look inside yourself, that you give yourself the grace and the love and the space to look inside yourself, you create an opportunity for growth. And growth, my love, is what life is all about. Listen, anything that isn't growing is dying. So I'm going to say that another way, and I'll ask it this way. Are you thriving or just surviving? Right? So now, based on all of that, let me ask you, are you ready to dive deeper? Are you ready to uncover the greatness within you? Yes? Good. Then I want you to keep rocking with me, because when we come back after this brief commercial break, and I do mean brief, like 30 seconds, I'm going to share with you the exact tools and techniques that I used to discover my purpose and to rebuild my life. These are going to be the same tools, I promise you, that can help you unleash your full potential and to create your life beyond your wildest dreams. So, don't you dare go anywhere, soulmates. I'll see you in a few.
Welcome to a unique brew of perspectives. What's the Tea with Gen XYZ is your one-stop spot for a fresh take on today's burning issues. Representing 3 generations, a Gen X icon, a millennial maverick, and a Gen Z trailblazer stir up conversations ranging from social justice to pop culture. They'll bring the heat, spill the honest truth, and find common ground across the years. Expect humor, candor, and perhaps a dash of healthy debate. Enlightening, insightful, and sure to stir the pot. Stay tuned for a stimulating dialogue that bridges the generation gap, one cup at a time.
Okay, welcome back, soulmates. Now, I've already shared that the process of self-assessment isn't about judging yourself. It isn't about finding out what's wrong with you, okay? It's really about discovering the unique, beautiful, powerful being that you are. It's about learning and embracing and falling in love with yourself. The you that's really there, the good, the bad, the messy, the magnificent. This process is really about finding peace in all of your broken pieces. And let me tell you, the whole finding peace in my pieces was my biggest challenge as a self-proclaimed perfectionist. Let me tell you, when it got down to me really trying to find that self-love and to find that acceptance of myself, I really struggled with the broken parts of me. The parts that were put together fairly well, I was okay with that. It was the broken parts that were steeped in guilt and shame and all of that I struggled with. So let me share with you my process, the process and the tools that I took to transform my life. And I'm hoping and I'm trusting that these same tools will help you to step into your greatness. You know I'm pragmatic, so let's get super pragmatic. First thing is something called a value assessment. Listen here. This is truly where it all begins. You see, your values, they are your compass. They are your North Star. They are the things that guide you when the path seems unclear. So, with respect to values, I want you to ask yourself, what principles do I refuse to compromise on? What do I stand for, even if it means I have to stand alone? Get super clear on your values. The second thing that I did was a strength inventory, right? Here's what I want you to know. You're a masterpiece. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made by the Creator. You have been infused with gifts that no one else has. So I want you to think about that and take an inventory by asking yourself, what comes naturally to you? What do you do that people always compliment you on or call on you for when they need help or advice? You see, these are clues to your unique strengths. Okay? A third thing that I did was a passion and purpose exploration. Ask yourself, what makes your heart sing? What sets your soul on fire? What activities make you lose track of time? You see, soulmates, these are clues whispering to you about your purpose. Number 4 is a goals review. Okay? So with this step and this tool, I want you to ask yourself, Are your goals aligned with your values and your purpose? Do your goals excite you? Do they scare you a little? Because here's what I'm going to tell you. If your goals don't make your palms sweat or your knees knock a little, they're too small. So it might be time to dream bigger. A fifth thing is what I call a feedback analysis. And this is simply where you seek input from those that you trust. I call them credible others. So we're not out here just asking everybody. We're asking those people that are credible others, people that you have identified as being not just in your circle, but also in your corner. Because here's the thing, and this is why this is so important. Sometimes other people can see the greatness in us that we've been blind to. I want you to remember, soulmates, that with respect to these techniques, they're not separate exercises, but they're interconnected tools that can give you a holistic and soulistic view of yourself. So as you start to work through them, you'll start to see a clear picture emerge. It's a picture of your authentic, powerful self. So let me tell you how this all worked in my own life. When my world turned upside down, the first thing I did was I started with my values. And when I did that assessment, I realized that authenticity, empowerment, and resilience weren't just words to me. They were the very essence of who I am. And then I looked at my strengths. And what I found and saw was that I have an ability to connect with people. I have an ability to rise from adversity. I have an ability to make the complex simple. And I realized that these weren't just skills, they were superpowers. Then I started to explore my purpose and passions. And I found that nothing lit me up more than helping others overcome their challenges and step into their power. That's why I'm here. I realized this wasn't just a career path, it was my calling. Next, I started to look at my goals. And I realized that some of the goals that I had, some of the goals that I listed, weren't even mine. They were expectations that I had absorbed and inherited from others. So I had to have the courage to let those go and set new goals that truly resonated with my soul. And then, yes, I sought feedback. I opened myself up to hear how others perceived me. I opened myself up to new circles so that I could have support. And you know what? Their words showed me strengths that I didn't even recognize in myself. So I was able to go back and add to my strengths inventory. Let me tell you, this process wasn't just transformative, it was revolutionary. This process didn't just change my life, it helped me create a new one that was authentic, one that was powerful, one that represented the real me. So, how can you start this journey? I'm going to give you a few steps, 3 steps that you can take right now. The first thing is, I want you to schedule some reflection time. Carve out some time each week that's just for you. And then I want you to use this time to journal, to pray, to meditate, to connect with your inner self. Okay? Second thing that you can do, you can create a personal power map. So let me tell you, instead of a SWOT analysis, those of you in business will know SWOT analysis is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of a business. Instead of a SWOT analysis, I call this a personal power map. And it's based on the same premise. It's where you identify your strengths, you identify your growth areas, you want to identify your opportunities and your challenges. So this isn't just a business tool. This is a life transformation tool. And you can approach it exactly how you would approach a SWOT analysis with business. Okay? The third thing is, you will hear me say this almost every episode. Seek soul level feedback and support. I want you to reach out to people who see your soul and not just your surface. I want you to ask them what greatness they see in you. And then I want you to be prepared to be amazed. Because I promise you, they're seeing you through a different lens than you're seeing yourself. Remember, it's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. So sometimes you need people outside of the frame to see the full picture. Okay? I want you to remember, soulmates, that this isn't about achieving perfection. That's not what this process is about. This process is about embracing your perfectly imperfect self and then using every part of you to create a life and business that lights you up from the inside out. Okay, soulmates. So now it is time for our live Q&A segment, which I absolutely love because it's the time that I get to hear from you. I get to hear from my clients, my purpose posse, as I call them. So let's dive into your questions and see if we can unlock this power within you. Our first question comes from Ashley. And Ashley writes, I've done self-assessments before, but I always struggle with turning the insights into action. Any advice? I think so, Ashley. Yes, I might have a bit of advice. Listen, this is such a great question, Ashley, because what you've done is you've just highlighted one of our biggest challenges. Yes, insights are beautiful, but action is where the magic happens. And I call this putting feet to faith. Insight without action is useless. So here's what I want you to do. After each self-assessment that you embark on, I want you to choose one thing to focus on, just one. And then I want you to set a big, bold goal around it. Okay? Now, with respect to this goal, I want you to make sure that it's specific, make it measurable, and most importantly, make it exciting and terrifying all at the same time. In other words, it needs to make you terror-sighted. Because remember, if it's not making you a little terrified, it's too small. Then I want you to take that big, hairy goal, and I want you to break it down into small daily actions. For example, if your goal is, I want to become a powerful public speaker, a daily action, a small action could be, start by speaking up in your next team meeting at work, right? Remember that every master was once a beginner. So your journey to greatness starts with the first small step. Don't make this a big thing. Go ahead and break it down and take small daily actions. That is where the process really starts to shine, and you'll start to see those insights and actions create something powerful. Okay. Hopefully that was helpful, Ashley. Our next question is from Patricia. She says, Dr. Melissa, how often should I be doing these self-assessments? I'm worried about overthinking things if I do them too frequently. That's another great question. Thank you, Patricia. And trust me, as a self-admitted overanalyzer, I completely understand your concern. But listen, self-assessment is like breathing. It should feel natural, not forced. So here's what I recommend. Do a deep, comprehensive self-assessment once a year. And I'm talking about a deep dive. Typically, you only need to do that once a year. This is your chance to look back on your growth and then to set powerful intentions for the year ahead. I will tell you, for me, I typically head to the beach for a weekend. I get a hotel on the water and I book it for the weekend because this allows me to have that personal time that I need to do the deep reflective work and the deep analysis that I need for myself. Personally, I approach it like an annual strategic review that I do in my businesses. I am really that intentional and focused about this time. So, once a year, when you're going that deep, for me, has worked. But now I will say, in addition to that, I would say that you need to do quick check ins with yourself monthly or quarterly. And this can be as simple as asking yourself, okay, what's working? What needs adjusting? What am I grateful for? Just a check in to just sort of reset and to ensure that you're still in alignment with what you're trying to do. But then, Patricia, I'm going to tell you every single day, you need to take a moment to connect with yourself. This can be through prayer, meditation, journaling, or just simply taking a few deep breaths and checking in with your heart. Remember, this is so important. Self-assessment isn't about overthinking. It is about staying connected to your truth and to your purpose. All right. Woo, soulmates. As we've come to the end of our time together today, I want you to hear this. You are not a problem to be fixed. You are a miracle becoming and unfolding. You see, every time you look within, every time you reflect, every time you choose to grow, you are saying yes to the journey of uncovering your purpose and becoming who you were always meant to be. Soulmates, self-reflection and self-assessment aren't about finding flaws. It's simply about falling in love and choosing yourself again and again. It's about recognizing your power, owning your gifts, and then using them to create a life and business that lights you up from the inside out. I want you to remember that you are a work in progress. We all are, and that's a beautiful thing. So embrace every part of your journey. Celebrate your growth, and then love yourself fiercely, unapologetically, completely. Okay? All right. So, soulmates, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to Standing on Business with Dr. Melissa. I truly hope today's discussion has ignited a fire within you to embrace your authenticity, to prioritize your growth, and to infuse your life and your business with purpose. If you want more information about me, I want you to please visit our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow me on all the socials. And then, if you're ready to take your business to the next level and align it with your purpose, I want to invite you to join our free community, the My Soul Purpose community. Inside that community, you're going to have the opportunity to connect with like-minded entrepreneurs, gain clarity on your purpose, and develop a roadmap for aligning your business with your authentic self. The community is absolutely free. So, to learn more and to secure your spot, you can join me at community.purposeprophetess.com. I cannot wait to serve and support you there. So, Soulmates, join us next week as we dive deeper into the strategies and mindset shifts needed to build a purpose-driven business. I want you to remember that you are purposeful and you are powerful. I truly, truly believe in you, and I cannot wait to see the incredible things that you're going to achieve. So, until next time, my soulmates, keep standing up, keep standing out, and keep standing on business. Bye for now.